In considering advertising, one of the important tools that we have to remember and that we have to plan for is obviously media, right? There's only so much that the creativity, the message, and all that good stuff about your ad, if it's not getting through to the right customers or the right audiences, it's really going to have very little impact. So, media planning plays a really large role in the advertising strategy. So, let's take a look at a couple of the most important media planning decisions that we have to make as advertisers. We need to balance these two things called reach and frequency. Now, I'm talking about this balance because these two are going to be really related, but these are two distinct decisions that we make. We may choose to emphasize reach or we may choose to emphasize frequency. So, what do I mean when I talk about reach? Reach is the number of people, the total number of people who could possibly see your ad. Now, notice how we got really kind of a little italicized here in terms of possible, because when we're dealing with audiences, specifically through media, even if somebody is engaging that media, think about the last time you watched television, right? You probably watched a TV show, you may be watching it in real time, you may be watching it on your DVR, and what do? You get up, you go to the bathroom during the commercial, or you're reading a magazine and you flip through the page, you go to a specific story you want to read, and you don't necessarily see all the ads. You've engaged the media, so you count as an audience, but you haven't really engaged the ad. So reach has this idea of being almost like a dream number. It's the most possible people who could see your ad, but maybe some of them don't see your ad. The second decision that we make, or the second thing that we evaluate when we're trying to put together our media plan, is this idea of frequency. And frequency is the number of times that your ad is delivered to an audience. So reach is the total number of people who could possibly see your ad, while frequency is the number of times you deliver an ad to that particular target audience. And you'll notice how reach and frequency, as I said, are going to be interrelated. And there's a few things that we can talk about when we talk about reach and frequency. I use these terms mutually exclusive, and I also use the term negatively correlated. This means that they are related. When things are mutually exclusive, we mean to increase one or to maximize one, we naturally need to decrease the other. And negatively correlated means that they move in opposite directions. So when we maximize reach, we tend to lower frequency. When we increase frequency, we tend to lower reach. And that's what it means to be negatively correlated. They move in opposite directions when you start changing the amount or the emphases on each. Now, what becomes really interesting with reach and frequency is that we combine these two things together to create or to get at a very interesting evaluation tool for our media plan. And this is a thing called the gross rating points, or the GRIPs. Oftentimes, gross rating points are referred to as telling us the intensity of a communications campaign. So GRIPs are a really important number that you want to calculate. It helps mostly when you want to evaluate two campaigns or two media plans in relation to one another. When you calculate your GRIP, and you can do it, as I said, you multiply reach times frequency. So reach times frequency equals gross rating points. Just be careful with your terminology here, because in the field we say GRIPs, GRPS. Pretend there's an I in there and we pronounce it GRIPs. What really gets to me is when people pronounce it GRPS. That's my little pet peeve. So be careful with that, because you want to make sure that, when you're in an interview or when you're talking about these things in the field, that you're doing it in a way that is valuable. So calculate your GRIPs. And when you have your GRIPs, you can use that as a way to evaluate two different media plans. So if one media plan has a GRIP of 125, whereas a second alternative media plan has a GRIP of 150, you're always going to want to choose the media plan that offers you the most GRIPs, because that's going to probably be the most effective plan. It's going to be the best use of your money. So in advertising planning, media planning, reach and frequency are two important things that you need to keep in mind when you're building your media plan and your media strategy.